Hey there, I'm here with the composer in residence Brian Galante, and we just finished 2 days of recording sessions, about 14 hours of recording. We finished at about 1:45 in the morning yesterday, I think, and recording our album So Hallow'd the Time, which features one of Brian's cycles that he wrote for us. So what'd you think, Brian? What was that like?
It was fantastic. It was 2 days of really great, intense, tedious work, but the choir never let up. They were tired last night. It was the end of an 8-hour session, and they sang the last take with as much beauty and elegance as warmth as they sang the first take. It was really fantastic sitting in the booth, listening on the headphones, and just hearing the sound and imagining what the ultimate recording is going to be.
That's still mezzo forte, not soft. It's really good. You just kind of let the bottom fall out of it. Can we just start at the but, hear the angel's warning? Do you remember your pitch there? I hope so. Can you play a B flat major triad? But here, 2, 3, go.
I could never really understand this, but what's it like to be the composer of a piece of music that you've written for a choir, that you've sung in, that you helped form? You and I have known each other for a really long time, and then all of a sudden your work is coming to fruition right there. What's that like?
Well, I've actually had the blessing, the opportunity to write for choirs that I know pretty well in a lot of my composition work. And of course, since day one of the Taylor Festival Choir, I've been writing for the group. So there's a great opportunity there to be able to write with specificity, mm-hmm. and knowing in my musical imagination what it's going to sound like, mm-hmm. In the hands, in the voices of the ensemble.
Right.
So in writing ranges and writing colors and writing harmonic textures, I can, understand, what is this going to be in the Taylor Festival Choir? And that's really kind of freeing,
right.
Because it's, and I don't feel like I had to notate with great specificity every single instruction. I feel like as much as I know the group and as much as I know you know me and the group knows me, and so there's this really great collaborative relationship that I don't have to worry about giving every single direction. I know I can just put the general tapestry there, and you all are going to shine the light upon it and make it sound great.
And that dynamic was really interesting for us, because some of the singers were actually a little freaked out at first, knowing that the composer was in the room.
One of the really great things about this whole experience is that we get to perform with the composer in the room, which is also very scary sometimes, mm-hmm. But also very gratifying.
Yes, it's really great to have him there and tell you what you're doing right, and sometimes what you're doing wrong, but mm-hmm. for the most part, what you're doing right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
when
just
you make him cry, but it's like a good thing.
Yeah. Happy tears.
Happy tears. Always great.
Good.
Yeah, but it's really cool. It's really nice to have him in the room and mm-hmm. to be able to perform something he created and do it justice is nice. Mm-hmm.
see the crescendo, it's not a soften to crescendo. You just keep it going. All right. My three top people.
We also had Benjamin Moss, it was our recording engineer and one of our producers, and then our mentor, Ken Fulton, who was both of our professor and mentor. He was also in the booth, so I had people I really trust in the booth. So it was freeing for me to know that I didn't have to have rehearsal ears on all the time, trying to listen to make sure everything was in place. I could just be free to make music, shape phrases, take chances, knowing that you guys were on headphones and you could beep in and say, okay, we need to go back and do that. So I actually prefer it. I think some of the singers really found it freeing as we went along as well. But initially, there was some freak out of, oh my God, what's he going to think? And oh my, and even Brandon Hendrickson, who's one of the best singers any of us has ever known, one of the great baritones in the country, was pretty nervous that you were in the room and said so. He said, I've never performed something written for me in a recording situation with the composer on the headphones. So that was a really interesting dynamic, but I thought it was really, really rewarding.
Absolutely. I mean, I think there's kind of a warm-up period in every recording, because it really is a sterile environment. You don't have the energy of a live performance. Mm-hmm. And so when you do have people, on headset that are focused on the details and sometimes annoyingly so on the details, then that really frees up the ensemble and you to focus on the artistic product.
No, absolutely.
And then when we go into the editing process, it really opens up the opportunity to say, okay, this was the best musical take of this.
Right.
And this is the one where the artistic shape, the linear phrase, the melodic shape really worked. And then you go from there, and then we're listening for everything. Was there road noise? Was there a page turn? Was there a blip here or a blip there?
Right.
But those are the things that you don't have to concern yourself about. And I think once the singers kind of finally warmed up and we got a few takes in and they settled down a bit, that's where you really saw the artistry in what they could do.
Yeah.
The first couple were tight, but they're even TFC tight is a damn good choir.
Well, thank you very much.
And I say damn on the camera.
I'm Rob Ward.
I'm Lee Lingle.
I met Lee singing with the Taylor Festival Choir way back in its beginning days, all the way back in Little Rock, Arkansas. Yeah, going way back. And then I had a break for quite some time, and I'm back singing with the group in the bass section, and excited to be back, excited to be part of this project.
And I got no break. I've been singing this choir since the beginning, since 2001, thereabouts. I think you came in 2002?
2002 and 3.
Thereabouts, yeah. And so sang all through Arkansas, then we moved here to Charleston, and been singing in the bass section ever since, and now on the board of directors as well.
Of course, Brian Galante was part of the group back then, and we are recording a piece that he was commissioned to write for the Taylor Festival Choir, so it's really a special time to be a part of this group, not only because the group has elevated itself to this point. It's really one of the finest choirs in the U.S. right now, but we can remember its humble beginnings way back in Little Rock, and starting with Brian, and to be able to be back singing and to bring a piece to life from one of our guys, it's pretty great.
Yeah, it really is awesome, because he sang in one of the first or second choirs, but the very first season we actually did a piece that we commissioned from him as well, so it's really cool to keep being able to do some phenomenal work from the great composer who also gets to sing with us occasionally. So
Ready and up. Methinks I see our
And I should say, you know, I think one of the things that makes TFC special is it is a family. And my wife Mary and I formed the Taylor Music Group and the Taylor Festival Choir with the notion that people perform at a higher level if they care about each other. That's really one of the core principles of the organization and of the choir. And I think you could sense that. And you mentioned to me on the ride, on the way over, that even after 8 hours of recording, they never really let go of the rope. There was still a certain degree of focus and a certain degree of want to. And I think part of that is the love of the project, but it's also love of each other. There's some folks in there that have known each other for many, many years, and it's really kind of a singing family. And I think that really makes a special choir. I also want to mention that this album is also going to have work by our good friend Stephen Paulus, who passed away in 2014. I had the great opportunity to become friends with Steve, and we're doing a piece called Christmas Dances that's never been recorded before. But you want to talk about synchronicity and things connecting. It was actually written for the Arkansas Chamber Singers, which is in my hometown, and the director is John Irwin, who was my college choir director. So everything just kind of came together for this. And I think it's going to be a fantastic album, and I hope everybody enjoys it.